Safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Turn off your TV, turn on your mind, and turn up that radio. It's AM Beaver County on 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and 1460 WMBA.
And we're back on AM Beaver County on this Thursday morning, and we're joined in studio by a couple of individuals from the New Brighton Rotary, and I'll have the two of you introduce yourselves to the audience.
John Perano, New Brighton Rotary President.
Arthur Thompson.
And nice to see the both of you this morning. And John, first of all, if you want to just pull that mic just a little bit closer to you. There we go. Perfect. So we're here today to talk about the 75th anniversary of the New Brighton Rotary, which I imagine is just, you know, when brought into thought is just crazy to think about. And is there an overwhelming sense of, oh my goodness, we've made it this far, or just a matter of we've made it this far, we're going to keep going?
I don't necessarily overwhelm. I think it's a sense of pride. The fact that we've been able to help the community of New Brighton for 75 years and celebrate it May 14th is going to be an absolutely a great accomplishment for us.
And Art, you've been with the Rotary for a very long time, and over the years, how has it evolved into what it is today?
Well, that's hard to say. I was very involved for a long time, and in the last 15, 20 years, because of age, I've slowed down, and I'm still involved, but I take pride in what we have done to the county and what we've done to New Brighton. And we have done many good things. People don't realize the extent of what we've done to the people of New Brighton.
Well, let's talk about that extent a little bit, because, again, some people may very well be wondering, well, what exactly is it that the Rotary does, and what is the impact been over the course of time with the New Brighton Rotary?
Well, this started out as basically a reason why it's called Rotary is the simple fact that when it was originally started, it was started by 5 or 6 people, men in Chicago, Illinois area, and they moved from office to office once a week, and that's where the name came from. And what we primarily do is we volunteer our time for certain projects in the town. We raise money for different organizations, and such as, well, 12 Loaves. We've given them a commercial refrigerator and freezer unit. We bought them a coffee maker. We volunteered at, I believe it's called Pine Valley in Elwood City. Yeah. It's a youth camp. And we've been there a couple of times. We've served the meals to the kids, gave the kids a break, and talked with them. And we've done many projects that we've raised money, and we have done things for Merrick Art Gallery in New Brighton, and we've the clock, if you come through the main street of New Brighton and see the clock in front of the Huntington Bank, we bought and put that in there. And the flags for the veterans that you see hanging from the poles in New Brighton, we were the instigators of that, along with primarily John. So John can even talk more about that than I can.
Well, John?
Yeah, we've been blessed to do a lot for New Brighton. Those hometown heroes, along with the Memorial Day Association, we were able to put up over 300 veterans throughout our community. We also do. We're going to be putting flags up for Memorial Day at Grove Cemetery in St. Joe's. We give out scholarships to our high school. We have a great Interact Club led by Joe Tabe. One of the biggest in our district. Our youth, our kids are the future, and they help us out with numerous projects as well. We just had our empty bowls, I believe, last weekend or 2 weeks ago to help support them. We volunteer with the Irish Townsend House with our New Brighton Historical Society. We help clean up and we help them out as much as we can. We try to dive into our community as much as we can and just be a resource for whoever needs it.
And I just want to point out that that's all the stuff that you guys are doing now. Yeah. That's all the projects that you guys are involved with now or have been involved with over the last few years. When you multiply that into 75 years of service to New Brighton, I mean, that in itself is something to be proud of. And on top of that, it's going to be celebrated coming up. I believe you said it was May 14th that the celebration is. Yep,
it's going to the Beaver Valley Golf Club.
So what is the celebration exactly going to be as far as, what is to be expected if anybody wants to come down?
Well, it's open to the public. It's $60 a ticket. I know that's a little bit steep. It's a buffet. You get your little whiskey glass. You get some chocolates. And it's going to be a great atmosphere. Just friends of Rotary, influencers of Rotary. We were chartered by the Beaver Falls Rotary Club. 100 years. They celebrated their 100th year, I think, last year, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. We're going to have guest speakers, and it's just really going to be a night of just celebration. Art's been part of our club for 57 years. So without this man next to me, there is no club. So just recognizing him, recognizing the past, definitely be a segue to the future. So after May 14th, we're looking forward to another 75 more years of serving New Brighton and the surrounding communities.
That's Art's laughing over there.
Yeah, I won't be around for it.
Well, I mean, Father Time is undefeated, but at the same time,
Father Time's catching up to me, young man.
But in all seriousness, though, I mean, like you guys said, for it to be 75 years deep and to celebrate all the accomplishments that have been done, I mean, it really is something to be proud of. It really is something to celebrate. And again, the public, this is not just an opportunity for them to realize what all has been done, but what all can be done and can be done for the future of New Brighton.
And Matt, I get blown away at just the support that we have through our business district, our small businesses, other organizations that are going to be there to support us, other Rotary clubs, our Women's Council, which is they have a new president, Jess Henry, who's going to be there to support us. The Historical Society, 12 Loaves, Beaver County YMCA, Mike Herrick, the CEO down there, he's going to be there just to celebrate with us in the future and 75 years and what else is to come. So that's the exciting part, that it's not just New Brighton Rotary. It's going to be a celebration of different organizations within our community.
And I think, too, it does reflect that all these connections that are being made through the Rotary is probably one of the more underrated aspects of it, because yes, there is that action. Yes, there is that drive to make things better, but at the same time, there's this network. And we've heard about networks before with other organizations, these networks of organizations that are willing to help each other out and willing to make, any situation a better place, because that seems to be, what the Rotary has been doing for its 75 years in New Brighton.
It's a beautiful thing, just networking, and it's a service above self. And in order to achieve that service above self, nowadays with membership being low and it's hard to find people to join different clubs. So in order to really be efficient and effective, we all have to work together.
Yes, and you mentioned that concept of service before self, and Art, I'll go to you for this one. In your time with the Rotary, how has the idea of service before self been manifested in its best ways?
That's hard to answer. I've never really thought about that in any manner.
It's just a matter of just going out there and doing it and providing.
Well, I'm a doer. I'm not a programmer or a leader of such a thing. I'm more of a doer. You tell me what needs to be done, and I'll do it.
And we were talking about it earlier. It's not necessarily just writing a check.
No,
We volunteer.
we have in my time of being there, we have probably one of the best group of gentlemen that I've been around in a long time, because one of the things when I became a Rotarian was that if you couldn't make your meeting, they would like you to actually visit another club and make up. Well, believe me, I've been in some big clubs, Chicago, Illinois, Tucson, Arizona, Boston, Massachusetts. The clubs are so big that you're nothing but a number.
Wow.
The people don't even talk to you. I'd sooner be in a smaller club, one that we enjoy being together every Thursday night. We've had our differences, but we've talked over the differences and we've got through the differences. So, but way back when, it was a lot more stringent than what it is today. And when I was asked to join the club, then you had to be asked. I mean, it was no matter of you walking up and telling a person you would like to become one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had their little, little things, and it was done in a certain way, and I stuck with it. And I enjoyed being among these people. Now, if I was living somewhere like Pittsburgh or, say, Lancaster, which is another area that has a large club, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be a member, because when you got 150 to 200 people sitting there, and you're there for 1 hour a week, you don't get to know anybody. Well, I know everybody in my club.
Right. And I think, too, what that goes through is the fact that you guys, not only when you get to know each other, you get to understand, and you, like you said, there's disagreements, there's not always going to be full-on harmony between everybody there, but there is that, drive to work together, to know everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and to make sure that, when everybody comes together to do their part, that it is executed in the best way.
Yes, and that's the way the New Brighton Club has been. I mean, when I became there, we had superintendent of school, a doctor, a dentist, people from Duquesne Light Company, people from Bell Telephone Company, the banks, lawyers, a couple of lawyers, an architect. You don't get this breed of people today. People just don't have the time. I mean, with the economy the way it is, both spouses have to work to make a living. I was very fortunate when I had my business. I made my living and took care of my 2 kids and my wife. And proud to say I've been married over 60-some years. And but it's hard.
Yeah, it is, and further too, like you say, there's not a whole lot of time that people can have, but there are those out there that do, and John's an example of that, And so let me ask you guys this question: if somebody is interested in becoming a Rotarian, how would they do so?
Just reach out on our Facebook page. A lot of people know who we are throughout the community. Just come up and ask us. We meet at Grand Valley Inn every Thursday night, 6:15. Come to a meeting. Come check us out. We're a service organization, service above self. Everybody's welcome.
Everybody is welcome, and everybody has, the opportunity to give to their community in a certain way. And again, the idea with a local one like this, because from what Art was saying, with some of these big city operations, with these big areas like Tucson and Boston, that when you meet like that, when in a room of so many people, basically at that point it's a matter of, okay, this person's up here in charge and everybody else is sort of at this level. It's not necessarily, I mean, it could be, but it's not always a full-on power thing, but it sort of feels like that, where with this, you do have your speakers, but at the same time, everybody's in a room, they're tightening it together. There's no major authority. It's a matter of we're all in this together to do what we need to do.
Absolutely.
And I think that is a massively underrated part of communication, and not just the Rotary, but in anything these days, is the idea of, hey, if we all sort of meet on the same level, we can all work together. And it's worked together for you guys for 75 years. And again, the hope is that the future will be full of projects to get you guys to help out the community in any way possible.
That's the goal. After this, let's get 75 more years.
75 more years and a new generation of Rotarians, which let me ask you that in that regard. I know you guys are saying, anybody's welcome to come. Is there a limit on the age as far as who can be a Rotarian? Probably, 18 or so?
That is a good question. I'd have to look into it. I would say 18 and older to be part of. There's different clubs, like the Interact Club would be for our high school kids. Okay. And then there's clubs for college kids, but 18 years or older in order to join, yeah. But anybody's willing to help out and volunteer, we'll be more than happy to take them.
Or do you have anything to add to that? Or
Well, actually, when the basics to belong was that you were to be in business, be in a position of management, ownership. The rules have changed to the point where it's becoming a little bit more liberal. When I went in, my classification was a fuel oil dealer. I had a heating oil business in Beaver County for a lot of years, and that they've got kind of away from that because of economics and livelihood and a lot of other things. But that was basically so. I would say probably from the age of 22 on up, as long as they were working in a business in some type of a position, not a total authority or partial authority, but maybe a foreman. That would be considered too. Yeah, I still think we should stay to that formula. Mm-hmm. But who am I to say?
Well, I mean, it's a balance. It seems. I mean, there's that balance of because like you mentioned, Art, there's been so many changes since the way things used to be as far as how the Rotary has operated. But at the same time, the Rotary has sort of adapted to that. Whatever changes there are, so it has managed to survive for 75 years. And again, that is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, sometimes adaptation and change can be a little bit funky and weird and whatever adjectives you want to use. But again, 75 years is nothing to sneeze at. Certainly something to be proud of. And again, the celebration for it coming up on May 14th, open to the public at the Beaver Valley Golf Club, $60 per ticket, and it'll be a celebration of everything that you guys have done and are going to do down the line. So it's going to be a good time. Is there anything else that you guys would like to mention as far as upcoming events or meetings that you want to get out there?
Our big thing right now is our 75th anniversary on May 14th. That's really my big last hurrah before I'm out as president and somebody else is coming up. So that's really the big focus right now.
I see. Well, I mean, for your sake and for the sake of the Rotary, I hope that it turns out to be a great time had by all, because again, that's, we talk about authority, it's one thing to be the president, and it's one thing to, get everybody involved to say, hey, we made it this far. We're going to have a good time. We're going to celebrate and do so for the public as well. So, John, Art, thank you guys so much for coming on today to talk about this with us. We'll have full details about the upcoming event at beavercountyray.com later on today. And again, the celebration is May 14th at the Beaver Valley Golf Club. And what time does it start again?
5:30.
5:30. 5:30 is the start time for that. And again, we'll have that up at beavercountyray.com later on today. You're listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and 1460 WMBA, all presented by St. Barnabas, and streaming live at beavercountyray.com. Next up is Teleform and Ask the Commissioners. We'll get things started at 9 o'clock. Donna Groom comes in at 10, and then it'll be the Best of Beaver County at 11. And at 11:30, Notes of Local Entertainment following the news, all here on Beaver County Radio. It's easier than ever to connect with Pittsburgh